Okay. Well, we're here with Nicole DeWeever with Fela the Musical, and it's a pleasure to have you here.
Nice to meet you, and thank you for having me too.
Thank you, thank you. So I know you've been with Fela the Musical since it began.
Yes, a long time.
And that was what, 2009 in New York City?
No, actually I started with the workshops.
Wow.
So it's been about 5 years. Workshops tend to range from 3 weeks to 2 months in the development process for the creation process. And I've been a part from since the beginning.
Wow.
So I've seen it come into itself in terms of evolve from the workshop process to this huge commercial production.
Wow. And how has the production developed in terms of what we see on stage at the Oriental Theater versus maybe those first ideas?
It's had many different variations from the workshops. The first workshop was basically developing the script, the score, and the storyline, seeing where it's going to come. And now it's pretty much a concert that turns in from a concert version of being enshrined into the story of Fela's life and how his music was used as a weapon, and the influence of his mother and his life story. So it's changed, with the workshop. From the workshop to now, it's very different.
Yeah, wow. And speaking of his mother and his influences, I know Sandra was a muse, was a very important role.
Sandra is very influential in his music, because in the beginning his music was, party, high life, about social dance type of music. And his music now, as current, is very politically driven because of his interaction with his meeting with Sandra in California. She educated him about all these amazing African-American writers. She basically brought him into his African self. And that made the course of his music pretty much change. The direction of the music changed because of Sandra.
Yeah. How did meeting her influence your approach to the role and the part you play and just the performance of Fela?
I met Sandra Isadore in the Off-Broadway production. She came to see the show for the first time. And she was so moved by the performance. And what was even more important is that at the end of the show, she came to us individually and spoke to us about what she saw on stage. And it was so moving because she was so sincere with how moved she was. And she spoke to us about how the women interact with each other. She spoke about her experience with the women, her interaction with the women, because I play one of Fela's wives, one of the queens.
Yes.
I play Adiola. And it was really amazing because here is this live person, this woman that's alive, that has changed the course of history in terms of his music. And it was amazing to actually ask her questions and be able to interact with her, this person that's living, Usually you hear of people that have been so significant in their past and they get their honor and their glory after they've passed. And here's this woman now, still alive, still vibrant, full of life, and willing to share with us her experience.
Yeah.
It was very moving to me as an artist.
Wow. Now being that this is a dance performance, but you're acting. I wonder how does the role come out? How do you play a role using your body and using the performance?
Well, you see, our show is a musical, so we act, sing, dance. So it's all three.
Yeah.
And the music is so driving. What we're saying is so significant. So not only are we acting or singing and dancing, we are telling the story beyond movement. I feel like we transcend in some way, as Bilty Jones liked to say, pushing the envelope, using our bodies as the weapon, using our voices as the weapon. We are the warriors of the word, are the words being said.
Wow.
So it's a very, it's a very spiritual, creative, intellectually stimulating experience as an artist.
Yeah. Now, speaking of spirit, and maybe it's Orisha,
The Orisha dance.
Yeah, the Orisha dance and others that you do, where it seems to be that the dance and the hand gestures, they're touching the head and the heart and the pelvis, and there's movement and there's placement of of energy
Exactly.
during the performance. How does spirit come into what you do, come into how you dance?
Well, we have codified movement that is like a fusion of Guilty Jones modern movement as well as West African dance. But there's a specific type of dance that we do called the Richie dance, where we have reference of movement coming from Shango, from Yemaya, which are Orisha gods, from Oshun, Obatala. So we pull from all of those amazing dance forms, which comes from the Yoruba culture. So it's a very spiritual dance, and it's to evoke the spirits around us. So it's not just pure dance, it's not just pure movement. Everything has a significant meaning and a purpose. And I feel like that's how Fela's music is as well. He's not just singing and asking you to dance his music, but he's asking you to be very aware and conscious of what he is saying. Of course, you can enjoy the sound, but there is something very significant being said in the message.
Yeah.
There's something that you have to take from it beyond just dancing. And that's what I feel the show is about also. When you come and you see the show as an audience member, you can be captivated by the sound and the music, but what are you getting from the message is what most important. What is very important and what is most important. So I feel it's the same way with the dance. It's just as significant.
Now I know at the end of the performance yesterday, there was an announcement that money is being raised, funds are being raised to prevent malaria and to help with education. Could you tell us about the charity associated with the show?
Well, there's a fundraiser going on to provide nets for malaria, to prevent malaria from the mosquitoes in the Sudan specifically. And we are educating the audience to know that they can contribute more than they even know by even giving a simple amount of $10, which would enable a family or thousands of families, depending on how much we donate, to be educated about how they can protect themselves. As for the specific website, I don't have that right now. I would be lying to you if I didn't tell you that I know it. But we are doing this every night in order to collect money for this specific fundraiser.
That's great. And if you had to tell the audience who is going to come and see the show, who enjoys the performance and wants to understand more about you, what's the message that you want carried from the audience when they walk out after those two sets and have felt have been moved? It's like you said, it's a concert and it's a dance performance, but it's a spiritual experience.
Journey. As an artist and as a person being involved in the show, I feel like I came into the project with all of my fears. And I feel like this show specifically has stretched me in ways that I can't even explain. Meaning, when I stepped into this contract to do this work, I was excited to have a job, but little did I know that the job went beyond the stage. For me, it was more about being able to stand for something that is meaningful. Very rarely you can be a part of something as an artist where you're not only on stage as a performer, but you're also educating an audience. You are saying something that's beyond entertaining. And I feel like if you come to see a show like this, it makes you reflect on what your purpose is here. I know even as an artist being on stage portraying the message, I feel like it empowered me to be a better person. How can I contribute to my community? How can I be of help to people not only here, but on a global level? Because I feel like this specific show is about the human experience. And I feel like anyone that comes into the theater, you can be black, white, coming from all walks of life, you can definitely relate in some way to the message.
Changing the world. Believing you can.
And one voice can do that, because imagine Fela was beaten how many times in jail, so many times, and because he stood up for what he believed in, and how many people can do that? How can that make you feel like, I can do this. I can stand for something, no matter what, even if I stand alone. I doubt he knew how much of an impact he would have on the world by just being courageous. And to me, that's what the show is about. It's about courage.
It's beautiful. That's
Thank
wonderful.
you.
Well, we look forward to other people seeing this and
Thank you.
everyone.
And
you know,
I want everyone to see it, and I think that it will definitely leave you thinking, what is it that I can do to make a difference? And I think that is, to me, very significant. Being alive, anyways, what can I do to make a difference in the world that I live in? And I feel like I'm doing it as an artist every day, being on that stage, conveying this message. I think it's very important that people come out and see this. From all ages, from all walks of life, all races. Everyone should come and see it and support it.
Great. Well, the Do 312 audience will. So thank you so much,
Exactly.
Nicole.
Thank you so
Thanks for
much.
being here.
Thank
It's
you.
great
Nice
to meet you.
you. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you.